Okay, I am a lollipop of sunshine
I
and
want to welcome
joy.
you to Cosmic Slop Radio, and we thought one of the things we should be doing is introducing ourselves. So today, I have with me the lovely and talented SonyaLee, holistic life coach and psychic medium, an all-around good person, by the way.
Thank
You are a good
Thank
person.
you.
So, not to skip too far ahead in your life, but tell me what got you into this. What got you to be a holistic life coach? What in your own life happened?
Well,
Tell me about your childhood.
I think, all of us come into the world with a purpose, and we have our dreams and ideals and dreams, and then we grow up and reality kind of sets in, and we forget about our truths that we brought with us. And my steps to remembering, is the way I like to look at it, was just realizing how miserable I was 5 or 6 years ago, and hated every moment of my life, was unbelievably, incredibly angry. I had no joys, had no joy in my life.
It's just like all the usual daily grind stuff of the world?
Absolutely, and everybody out to get me, and everything working against me, and life was so unfair, and just pretty much an all-around miserable person to contain within my own body. I couldn't stand myself.
Yeah.
So
no matter where you go,
no matter what,
right?
there I am.
I know.
So
So now what?
so I just decided to do the proverbial stop the car in the middle of the road, get out, throw the keys in the bank, and start walking the other direction. And
Really?
yeah, and that's pretty much what it did.
Wow.
And decided to start on a journey to find my joy. And along that way, I discovered that there are a lot of other people that are looking for their lost and missing joy. And
Sure.
don't know where, they don't know how they lost it, don't know if they ever had it.
So what kind of obstacles did you come across? In this struggle, this time of your life, going through this change, what were the obstacles you ran into?
Well, one of the biggest ones, and it's funny because, it was around the time and just after the time of the 2008 elections. And I was just so fed up with humanity and their insanity.
It took you that long?
Well, no, but that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me, though. And I think, I shut down after 9/11 because it was just so much, and for an empath that could be really difficult sometimes, all of that. And so, you go forwards that 7 years, I love that 7-year itch, and now it's like, okay, I've been shut down for too long, and now I'm gonna hurt somebody because I can't believe how out of control. It's like when you go and you leave your kids alone in the home for a little while, and then you come home, you ran to the grocery store and you come back, and they've got flour and chocolate syrup, and they're like skiing in the kitchen. I have no frame of reference for that ever being reality in my life. But, and you lose your mind. You're like, how did all this get so out of control? When did everybody get to be so stupid? And that was kind of the space that I was coming from and viewing everybody, and I was stupid too, because what on earth compelled me to decide to come and live at this time in space in our evolution?
Well,
and I wanted to see my contract, because I swear somebody snuck some fine print in there that they did not show me when I was signing that document.
Are you accusing God of pulling a sleight of hand with your life?
You know what? God calls it spinning it to win it. So that is... all's fair in, love and war and soul contract.
Divine will trumps everything.
That's right.
Well, I guess that's fair.
But, that was about the time, where I just thought I need a break, and I need to figure out, am I going to stay or am I going to go? Really?
So it's to that level. So it was, the obstacles to your joy was existence or not, essentially.
The obstacles was continuing to live an unjoyful, existence. Because I think I've always had the joy and always had the capacity to understand that this life is meant to be lived joyfully.
I believe that about you.
Yeah.
I totally believe that about you.
So to have that missing, lost piece
Sure.
in my existence. Kind of, it's like putting the light out on my candle.
So how'd you start finding your joy? What happened?
I started working on myself and changing some mindsets and beliefs, and a lot of crying and a lot of screaming and a lot of, you gotta allow yourself to temper tantrum.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sometimes too. That inner child, especially if these are things that are lifelong that you've been holding in, they have to come out. You
Yes.
can't just slap a little Band-Aid on the arterial bleed and decide to go through life and la la la. Now I've made the decision that I'm gonna feel good. Now sometimes you gotta feel even worse before you feel better, but then that's about feeling and not being numb.
Mm-hmm.
Or not being numbed, because there's always that too.
Yes.
And then, having been really good at figuring out what I didn't want, then I had to embark on that journey of finding what it was that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Joy Detective kind of came
Ah,
to life.
Okay.
Because now it's about going out there on that journey and seeking the joy in my life, seeking the joy in life.
So you're like a Columbo with spiritual matters. You go in there digging it
Oh,
all.
by the way.
I can let you off on that one.
Yeah. So that was kind of how that all came to pass. And having done, business coaching in my other worldly job and career mentoring and whatnot, I wanted to take that skill set that I'd already developed.
Sure.
and put it in a broader application, bringing in some spiritual and some life coaching, and some, healing, and
So
all of those together creates a
Nice.
holistic life coach.
Yeah. It's a treating you as a human first, and then you wear your hat of partner or employee or employer or student or child. Yeah, it's getting that core sense of yourself.
Yeah.
So what kind of things you work with your clients? Like what would be, some of the modalities?
Well, obviously, intuitive reading is where a lot of people will come to me or spiritual advisement, through the various mediums, connecting and with spirit guides, or using the tarot to kind of glean some, here's, the scenario that you find yourself in, or here's where you are in your life.
That's awesome.
And how to move forward from there, and helping people to sort of kind of identify, because the thing of it is we all have the answers within us, we're just not listening to those answers.
Yeah,
And
or can
so-
hear over the noise of our internal chatter.
Exactly.
Our internal dialogue, just like wax any subtle energy and coaching and
Sure.
support down
Sure.
there.
Because the ego speaks really loud,
Yes.
and sometimes that still small voice, you can hear it, but you doubt what you've heard because you've got this, other thing just screaming on the other side at you.
And probably have people around you who operate in the same space.
That's right.
Giving you external support of that idea. So
Yeah.
you end up following that path instead of that little tiny voice.
Yeah. And so, once you kind of recognize that that's where you're coming from, then you have the choice to continue it or to change it.
Yeah.
And that's always your choice. If that works for you, if it serves you, if there's a payoff, then there you go. And now you can't go back through that door without having that added awareness. And what I find is in a lot of cases, sometimes people just need that little nudge,
Sure.
that kind of gets them going. And then we're all on our own individual journey.
But you supply a
But I-
non-judgmental space for them
Oh,
to
yeah.
take that
And I-
nudge,
yeah,
to take
I
that step, or to
absolutely
get that
facilitate
confirmation. Yeah.
facilitate that space for them to have that awareness, because I think that it is about self-discovery. What works for me isn't necessarily going to work for somebody else.
Sure.
And even if I can see your life and have that outside perspective, sometimes what I might suggest for you isn't always going to work. But if I can give you some questions where you can now go back and ask yourself and come to your own and answer them for yourself instead of me just supplying the answers to you. Well,
Which-
now you're creating an empowerment field,
Nice.
and you're trusting in your own
Yeah.
intuition.
Well, perfect. So how would we get a hold of you to say, hey man, I've been missing some joy through various events, and I need some guidance and support.
Well, like you, I'm all over the place online. Facebook is Actualized Joy. My website is actualizedjoy.com. Here in the local Phoenix area, my number is 480-203-7791. I do Skype and phone, hypnotherapy, coaching, intuitive reading, Reiki, and if you are here in the Phoenix area and would like to have a blend of that along with some physical energy work, there's Reiki and reflexology.
Wow.
So
there's
I call it the Holy Trinity. There's the mind, body, spirit
Nice.
that can allow to come in from whatever space a person's most comfortable with.
And blend those three to get a more holistic approach to your whole life and to feel better just about all the things you do, because you're a better, happier human doing those things.
Sure.
Those things still may suck.
Mm-hmm.
It still may be your job, but you know what? The head you bring to it, that's what the difference is.
Oh.
Well, awesome. Well, it was great to chat with you.
Thank you.
Now, listen, go do well out there.
Thank you.
I highly recommend her. Okay.
I'm SonyaLee.
I'm Eric Thomas.
I'll see you next week on Cosmic Slap Radio.
Peace.